Hello everyone, and welcome to this very brief video on the data requirements for an InfoWorks ICM model and how to simplify it to get started and make the interface a little bit more manageable. Alright, so this is an intro video for InfoWorks ICM. It's for first-time users of the software, those who are used to using a different program, those who are used to the SWIM 5 model network and data inputs, how to map those into the InfoWorks ICM network, specifically looking at the simple master plan and capacity analysis in this example. Again, the software we're going to be looking at is InfoWorks ICM, and the workflow we're going to be going through today is basically identifying the current data you have, matching that against the information that InfoWorks ICM needs in order to run a very basic simulation for essentially capacity analysis. We're going to import that data into InfoWorks ICM, and then after we do that, we're going to configure the property fields to again make the many fields that are viewable in InfoWorks ICM a bit more manageable. First thing you're going to do is look at the data you have. What information do you have that you want to feed into the hydraulic model? I get asked all the time, what data is needed in order to make InfoWorks ICM work? I'm just starting to do my hydraulic modeling. I'm just starting to get into this. What information do I need in order to do this? Luckily, this table has been put together by a customer success team, and it highlights what's the required data, what's the recommended data, and what are the optional data fields that you would have generally within GIS data. It could be in CAD data and property sets, but you can see there start node, end node, width, roughness type, and then your inverts are what's needed for conduits, for example. Nodes, you can see the top 4 fields for manholes, wet wells, and then pumps. These are really the key elements that are needed to do some of this analysis. You'll see in this example, we're also going to have catchment information as well to load in the demands. But these are the essential elements as well as some additional considerations that you will need to start a model. Now I have InfoWorks ICM open, and we're going to investigate the GIS data I have loaded onto the geoplane here. So I've added my subcatchments, nodes, conduits. Subcatchments are representing the parcels in this case. If I wanted to add additional layers, I could do that, and I've got a web mapping service in the background as well. All right, so if I click around these, I can see the attributes within that GIS data. That's selectable and even editable within InfoWorks ICM. I have that information, and now I'm going to import it to the InfoWorks ICM network type. So we're going to go to the Open Data Import Center. I'm going to select nodes I want to import first. I'm going to go find that nodes shapefile. And I'm going to map everything, dictate the units, dictate everything comes in with my flags, my edits, auto map everything, and if the GIS field matches InfoWorks ICM, it'll actually automatically map there. So node ID, node type, system type, ground elevation, ground level. I've got those 4. I'm good to go. I'll go ahead and import those. Boom, 39 objects added. You can see they're right behind my GIS data. Let's go ahead and do conduits now. And flags, new shapefile, auto map, upstream, downstream, system type. Asset ID, I could add that as well. Conduit height for this. We're going to make the conduit height, the width also the same as the height, so you can map the same field to multiple InfoWorks ICM fields. I can also give default values. And make additional mappings as necessary. You can also save these configurations, don't need to in this case. Import, 1 error, it's just because 2 links are going between 2 of the same objects. And last but not least, subcatchments, which are representing the dry weather flows that we are going to load onto the rest of our network. And again, this is representative of parcel data in this particular network. Auto map everything there, subcatchment ID, system type, total area. That's all you really need for some of those loads to your network, those subcatchments, those parcels, whatever you want to call them, really. In InfoWorks ICM, they're subcatchments. So if I turn off the background GIS web mapping service, we now have the InfoWorks ICM objects that are ready to be modeled. All right, next thing, if I click on one of these nodes, you're going to see a ton of different fields, some of which I didn't import any information to. All this additional storage, none of that is information I imported. You can see the information I imported that's needed to run this model with my flags. Then you can see the default values, hashtag D there. Some of those will be necessary, but a lot of these fields simply aren't necessary for this particular simulation, what we're going to do. We look at conduits, same story. We can see some errors that we might need to correct in here within some critical fields. We see InfoWorks ICM is flagging that. But again, a lot of fields we simply don't need. So what you can do within InfoWorks ICM, if you come up to the wrench icon, go to Layout, edit the layout, you can start to hide and move some of these fields around. You can minimize some of these groups. You can move fields from one group to another to really minimize the amount of clutter in some of these workspaces. I go ahead and save that layout. You can see the edits I made there, minimizing that suds option and changing some of that view around. I can save those layouts and then go back to them. So I have a simplified view I wanted to load in here. So here's that much more compact view where I can easily say, hey, I need to change this. I don't want the Colebrook white. This is really a Hazen Williams, or actually this is really a Manning's N calculation we're doing, and there's that 0.13 that we imported from the GIS. Additionally, one of the conveniences of InfoWorks ICM is that we just mapped everything to the InfoWorks ICM network. But if I want to import everything to a swim version of that network, I can view it there as well by going to Network, Import Model from an InfoWorks network type. And here we can look at those same simplified views. Here's a simplified view of the sub-catchment fields where I can see I might have some missing information I need to further populate. InfoWorks ICM can easily be built from standard GIS data fields. For a full list of required data fields and suggestions from Autodesk, please reach out to Autodesk Customer Success. It's then easy to convert models between SWIM and ICM networks, and the open data import process that was shown today can actually be automated with Ruby scripting as well. Hope this helps you with your future InfoWorks ICM model builds.